on time, but we are going to wait a few minutes in case some of the classes are just ending at noon. So I hope you'll bear with us for a couple minutes while we admit the rest of the people from the waiting room and we wait for some additional attendees. We do expect the meeting to go 1 hour. We don't want it to go any longer than that. This is the booster meeting. It's not an admin meeting. It's not about you know, your tech support or anything like that. We implore you to reach out to the email that the school's been providing over and over for any tech support or questions. The agenda's on the screen, and those are the items that we're gonna talk about. And we really want your input for the budget and the nominations for new officers and committee and event leads. And at the end of the agenda, you'll see that there's open business, other business and open comments. And if you have any questions, we're happy to go over that at that time.
Also, if for some reason you haven't received a copy of this agenda, we can send it out to you after this email or after this meeting.
Following the meeting, I'll be sending out a recap email that has all the important links, all the important files. So anything that we talk about in today's meeting will be emailed. So all of that will be in your inbox.
And hopefully we did send out the packet last week or earlier this week, sorry. So we hope you guys did have a chance to look through some of it so we don't have to read through every item, but again, you'll get it after the meeting and we will go through all the different pages today, just not, you know, word for word. Let's see. Looks like we have 32 participants. Are we good to go? Do we want to wait a couple more minutes or?
No, I think we can get started.
Okay. So again, thank you so much for coming. This is the first booster meeting of the year, and we know it's a strange year, and we welcome you all, and we're just so glad to have you participating here. Obviously, this is a Zoom meeting, and we will be muting everyone. If you have a question, please put your name and the question in the chat, and we will call on you. Also, we're recording this meeting. So it will be published onto the YouTube channel, onto Richland's YouTube channel. So if you don't want your kids on it, you might want to either turn off your video if they're next to you or not have them in the room. So that's my welcome. It's nice to see all your faces. Sorry I can't see you in person. I really miss the drop-off time with you all. But Kruti, so I'm Pamela, I'm the co-president. Kruti,
and I'm Kruti
is also co-president.
Hi everyone, welcome to Richland for our new families. Welcome back for all our returning families. Thank you guys all for taking time out of your busy day to sit with us at our first booster meeting. Pamela's already said we're going to run through all the items on the agenda in a brief way, and if you guys have any questions, please feel free to contact us via email. Again, what we really want to do is kind of focus on where we are with the school right now in this crazy year and all the exciting things that we're still going to be planning despite being in distance learning right now. There we go.
Great. So Mr. G, are you here and do you have any a report for us?
I am. So yes, I can ready. I just basically have some announcements and things to kind of go over. I won't take too much time, but so welcome to the 8th day of school officially. I hope that things are kind of smoothing out a little bit. You guys are getting more into like the flow of things, and it appears, you know, some of our questions or the phone calls we're getting has diminished a little bit regarding like tech issues and how to log in. So hopefully that's going smooth. If you still have any questions, you know, feel free to call the office or just send an email to the Richland French Academy. I want to let you guys know that orchestra and music will be starting soon. Music will begin tomorrow, actually, with Miss McQueen. And those are the actual classes. I think there's like 3 classes, maybe 4. They're going to get actual orchestra in class. I'm sorry, going to get music instruction with Miss McQueen in class. And then we have 2 choruses. There's a K through 2 and a 3 through 5. So more of our families have an opportunity to participate in the chorus, so they can actually get, we're trying to get as many kids available. We're trying to open it up to as many kids as possible to participate in that. And that will take place in the afternoons. And there was a schedule that's going to come out and be sent to you guys. Orchestra will be starting soon too. We're waiting on a schedule, and we're also waiting for our instruments to be picked up and cleaned and returned to us. So that might take a little bit longer, but just know that we are going to offer orchestra this year. We're very happy to offer orchestra and music. We're happy to have Miss McQueen and Dr. Davis returning. Just know that this is not our focus at the moment. As much as we love the arts and we want to be able to provide this for the kids, we are focusing on language arts, math, and French, of course. Okay. And also know that if you choose to participate in orchestra or chorus, that your kids will be responsible for making up all lost work. Okay, where they're not going to be any special accommodations, no special treatment if they miss out on a Zoom or something like that. The teacher is not going to be re-presenting the Zoom. They're not going to be redoing lessons that have already been taught because of the current situation. So just keep that in mind. Okay. Attendance. This is a question that's been asked a lot lately. So the teachers are taking attendance in MISES just like they would if their kids were physically present here. The attendance is taken by 3 p.m. Okay, and the way that we judge attendance is there's 3 different ways. One is if the teacher physically sees the student on a Zoom lesson, then they are counted present for that day. 2 is if the student completes an assignment and sends it back to the teacher. It could just be 1 assignment, okay? They're still counted as present for that school day. And 3, if there's been any type of parent contact. So let's say you're having a hard time, you're having internet issues, you just can't log in for whatever reason. You call the school and you say, hey, I've been really trying hard to get to log in. I can't log in for whatever reason. We will count your child present for that, okay? If your child didn't do any of those things, but let's say they had a meeting with the school psychologist, or they jumped into a Zoom with the occupational therapist or the physical therapist, that will also count them as present, okay? So those are the criteria that we're collecting attendance by, and again, it's done by 3 p.m. every school day in MISES, okay? Some other announcements. Back to school night is creeping up quickly. It is going to be next Thursday from 4:30 to 6. There'll be more information to come, but just kind of save that date. Also, there's no school on September 4th and September 7th. We're having a nice 4-day weekend. And also on the 28th of September, there's no school. France Exchange is offering the after-school French enrichment classes for K through 2, 3 through 5, and there also going to be a drama component based on that. It was very successful last year where the kids got to act out different short skits and plays in French, so we're going to offer that again. Flyers have already been sent out. Please, if you're interested in that, please sign up quickly. Really quickly, again, you guys all received the email from me regarding kind of a hiatus on emailing teachers. Right now, we're getting a lot of questions, repeat questions on things that have already been sent to you guys, on things that are posted on our website, on things that, questions that people would normally not ask their teachers in our regular circumstances, like things like, how do I take a picture with an iPad? Stuff like that, that we feel is really not anywhere near the teacher realm or responsibilities. So we're asking that you please just email questions or any concerns that you have to the richlandfrenchacademy.net so that Katie and I can answer it. Again, we're trying to take all this extra pressure off our teachers and to really give them time to focus on just planning high quality lessons and delivering those lessons to our students, okay? Also, not to mention the morale. If teachers are having to spend, 2 hours a night answering, 50 plus emails every single day, then that really kind of affects their morale. And then they're not really in a good position when they meet with your kids the next day. We want our teachers to be, in the best health, the best state of mind. We want them to really focus on teaching and not answering questions that really are not kind of in their realm. So please, Katie and I are happy to answer all your questions. Send us an email at the French Academy, richlandfrenchacademy.net. Also quickly, Just a reminder, Zoom etiquette. So we realize that parents, you're there to support and you're there to kind of log your kids on and make sure that they're doing things. Parents, you guys really shouldn't be seen or heard on camera. When the teachers are teaching, we shouldn't have any parent participation. We shouldn't have any parents answering questions. We shouldn't have parents, providing questions or talking to the teacher directly at that time. You're there to kind of support and keep an eye on your kids, but we've been having some interruptions during Zoom lessons with questions and such from parents. So so please just know that it is the kids' time at that point, okay? And I think that's all I have at the moment. I know I went rather quickly, but I know we're kind of sticking to our time frame. So if you have any questions, I'll be sticking around for a little bit. If anything comes up during the course of the meeting, I'll be happy to answer. Thank you.
Great, thank you so much. So the next item on our agenda is regarding the budget. And I want to remind you all that, well, first of all, I'll start off by explaining that, again, we are boosters. We're not the school. We're not admin. We raise money for the boosters, a nonprofit organization. And Mr. G, or the school administration, asks us for a budget throughout the year, at the beginning of each year, and we raise funds to cover those expenses. So back in January, we had an official budget meeting. We had a budget, we voted on it, and everything was passed. Again, that was back in January and approved in February. And then obviously things went south in March. So we need to go back to and look at the budget, and we have a proposed budget that we want to address today and get your perspective from. And I'll go over that in 1 second. But first, I just want to again mention Richland Avenue Boosters and the budget. Please take a minute after the meeting to read through this letter here so you understand how the booster budget works. And if you've already read through it, thank you so much, appreciate it. And now I'll move on to the actual budget. So as you can see, we originally, I'm gonna scroll down to the bottom, back in February, we approved a budget of $251,000. And since we're doing distance learning, there are many items that will not be able to use this year. So I've highlighted them. The gray ones we're removing completely, the blue ones we're reducing, and the orange ones we're adding. So just to begin, the teacher's aides, we had set aside $15,000 for that. Those are specifically the consulate aides, and the consulate is not providing teacher's aides this year. So that's something that can be removed from the list. We do have $10,000 still set aside for additional French teacher's aides, but they won't be coming through the consulate. The art teacher, as you know, the art studio is closed. No one's allowed on campus. So again, that item is removed from the budget. Back in January and February, we voted to give Jacob an increase of $1,000. We are proposing that we do not give him the increase, but keep him at the $3,000 that he was at the previous years. Scrolling down further, yoga. Again, the yoga studio is closed. There's no reason for that $6,500 to be set aside for yoga when there's no yoga on campus. Field trips, we had set aside, I believe it was $500 per room. And again, since they're not on campus, there's no reason to go on these field trips. And if and when we do go back to campus, maybe we will be utilizing virtual field trips instead. Not sure that we want our children to be brought out into the public yet. After school activities, it's a smaller one, $2,500 that covered track and homework club and different items like that. We are later on going to talk about homework support, but the after school activities of $2,500, we're removing that from the budget. Again, cooking and art supplies, same thing. There's no, the campus is closed. There won't be cooking or art classes. We have a suggestion to put in sanitizer for the school and classrooms, $1,500. This will be once we get back to school. This is a guesstimate. We don't know how much it'll be, but we want to put something in the budget. Garden maintenance, has always been $6,000 a year, but we are proposing to reduce that. The gardener is $3,600 a year, and we completely are, we want to keep the gardener. We need to keep the garden active and in good condition. But at this point, there's a lot of things that we can't do in the garden. Campus beautification, again, was approved at $6,000, but we're reducing it by $3,000 since we won't be on campus for at least, we're guessing, half the year. So we're reducing it by 50%. And also, as you know, construction is going on campus, so there's no reason to be beautifying something that, you know, might be taken down. The school deep cleaning that we always do every summer, the LAUSD has done that for us this year and perhaps may do it again before we actually get into the classrooms. Let's see, the picnic and new student play date, that was a small amount, $500. That was on Zoom this year, so there's no expense for that. Lastly, the reserve fund. At our meeting in January and February, we had an overage of about $18,000, and we proposed to put that towards our reserve fund. This year, we're reducing that by $13,000. We still want to put some cash into our reserve fund, but we think it's appropriate to spend some of that reserve on expenses now. So that's our proposed budget. I'm happy to take questions about this or have a quick discussion about it.
So there's been some questions posted to the chat, some related to budget, some related to other things. So
Okay.
let's talk through the budget ones. And then afterwards we can go back, and Jerome, great point. We will address all those questions live so people can hear the question and answer. So we'll do the budget ones first and then we'll go back to the others. So Cami, if you mute.
I'm unmuted. Hi, can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay. It's always sketchy, this Zoomy stuff. I still have expenses. I have some repairs that need to be made that if we let them go, it's sprinkler repairs. And my plan for the fall was to be able to condition soil, which means I need to buy some new soil. I'll try to get a donation from Kellogg. I don't know what their policy is right now. Usually every couple of years I get about 5 pallets of soil donated. I don't know what that is now. I'll send a letter and see, but I'm still going to need to buy some mulch and supplements because our boxes are pretty tired in the soil. So with the optimistic hope that we'll be back in the spring, I'm going to need good, healthy, happy soil to be able to plant with the kids. So that was kind of, I mean, I'm still working, I'm still being paid to work in the garden. I still go work in the garden. And I do have some substantial sprinkler repairs that have come up. I have 2 whole sections that aren't even working. And I'm not capable of repairing those on my own.
Cami, can you give us an estimate of what you think it'll cost?
I have no idea until the gardener gets there. I would say soil would be a maximum of a couple $100, but the sprinkler repairs could end up being, you know, between about $500, $600.
So if we added $1,000 to the $3,600, do you think that would cover the expenses?
I would hope it would.
Real quick on the sprinkler repairs, it was our understanding in the conversation with Mr. G that those were broken by LAUSD, so there could be an opportunity for LAUSD to repair them?
Not necessarily.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, they did go in and tear up some stuff without thinking or without asking ahead of time, which, you know, not uncommon for the district. But I have some other sections too that actually have nothing to do with the work that was done. And I'm not sure the one that could have been, but is part of the district or not. I need to investigate a little more.
So I propose that we change the 3,600 to 4,600. Is there anybody opposed to doing that?
No.
Okay.
Thank-
I'm sorry?
No, just, I said thanks.
Okay. Would you mind muting yourself again? And Danielle, who's our next question?
All right, we got a Damien question via Mary Beth. So whichever one of you
We like
want.
these.
Hi. So I was just wondering, because we're reducing Jacob's salary by 1,000, if he's doing less actually because of the shutdown, which would make sense, or if it's just a budgetary concern.
Right now, it's a budgetary concern. I have no idea what he does on campus, if he's doing more or less. If you want to address that, we can ask Mr. G and see where that stands and make a determination based on his response.
Okay, thank you.
So, can I jump in real fast? Or? Right.
Yeah.
So, because we're not doing the PE program, that's one of the big projects he gets paid additionally for. Where there's no like track team, there's nothing else really going on. He is working on making PE videos that we're going to put on our website so the kids can get some sort of formal PE instruction, just kind of like fun things to do. So I would still, he does
Well, remember, Mr. G, we're not taking away his money. We were going to give him a raise. That was it. Just so.
Yeah. I would say continue with the raise. I think just based on the past and whatever he does, I'm sure once school opens up again, he'll be doing phenomenal things. So I really would hesitate to take anything away from Jacob because, schools are closed at the moment, but he's still working on things and doing things. So I really wouldn't. I would move forward and give him the raise if possible.
Do we have a consensus on that?
It looks like in chat, Stephanie seconded it.
Uh-oh. You're all gone. Uh-oh.
Jen DiMunso thirded it.
Okay, so I'll change that then, and we'll put him back to $4,000. Thank you, everyone. Do we have any, everyone please mute themselves, and do we have any more questions?
Sarah had a question about art.
Yes, hi. I'm just wondering if there's going to be any sort of art Zoom class of any kind.
I can't hear you.
I'm just wondering if there will be any sort of art classes as a Zoom or any art classes at all.
Well, there won't be any art classes that the boosters will be paying for at this point. Mr. G can address any art classes that the school will be providing, but Booster pays for the art studio and that is closed. So Mr. G, do you have any comments about an art class?
And we also pay for art supplies, which won't be required.
Right. So the teachers are going to incorporate some art into their lessons and then some of their work. But again, it's not a huge priority right now for us. Not to take anything away from art. I mean, art is very valuable. It's just, we've got a bit of a gap to close academically. And so again, the focus is language arts, math, and French, of course. So will there be some art lessons incorporated in there? Sure. Are they going to get actual formal art instruction? Anything that resembles the art studio? No. So the art studio is currently closed. Sandrine is no longer with us. She resigned officially from LAUSD. At some point, we're going to look to reopen the art studio and provide art again. It's just right now, with the situation that we're in, it's just not a feasible thing to do.
Thank you. Do we have any other questions?
Carolina had a question.
Hi, I don't know if you can see me. Yeah, I was just curious from last year's budget with the shutdown, if there was any way to recuperate anything or there's any unused money that rolled over from the time that we weren't in school.
Yes. Anything that wasn't used, let's see, March, April, May, June, has been rolled over into this year's budget.
Okay, thanks.
All right, next up, Jerome had a question.
Hi, everyone. Do we know why Madame Sandrine resigned? And is it just an LAUSD thing? And if so, the decision to close down, quote unquote, the art studio, is that because she's not part of LAUSD, or was it because she just didn't want to do it? Basically, the question being, would Booster, would it be possible for Booster to simply have Madame Sandrine do a class, online, like she's been doing privately over the last, back over the summer, I'm just wondering if there's any, if she's just gone completely from LA, or was it just, do we have any idea what happened there?
Mr. G, do you want to respond?
I don't have any idea what happened with Ms. Sandrine, but I do know that the art studio is closed because the campus is closed. And if we want to reach out to Ms. Sandrine, if Booster wants to reach out to Ms. Sandrine to do some art classes and Booster wants to pay for it, then that's something that we would need to vote on. If you want specific questions about why Ms. Sandrine quit, I mean, that would be a question for admin. I don't know if Mr. G wants to address it during a Booster meeting, but he has every opportunity, every right to do that if he wants.
Yeah, I can add just really quickly, and I don't want to derail your meeting completely. I just Madame Sandrine, first and foremost, was a TA for our school. She has a passion for art, and we thought, okay, it would be a great opportunity for when we first launched the French Immersion 5 years ago, that's when we hired her as a TA. And then once we realized, like, hey, she really enjoys art, this is a great way to practice the French language for the kids, to give them an opportunity to do art while learning French. What happened is we had originally had plans that Madame Sandrine would eventually become a teacher. So you really can't stay a TA for your whole career. You're required to take units, and then there's outside costs for that. And every year you have to upload your units to the district to show them that you're actually working towards becoming a teacher. So, Madame Sandrine was taking the classes, but, every year she wanted additional money. So this is something that, at first Booster was okay with, and we were able to, Booster was able to fund her quite a good chunk of money on top of her TA money to provide the art studio. Unfortunately, this is not really a model we could continue. It's not sustainable over the years. Like every year, Sandrine wants a raise, and we really told us, like, well, the only way you're going to make the kind of money you want to make is to become a teacher with an LAUSD. And because of the, now with the pandemic and schools being closed, and there's no way to really successfully offer art. And so we decided to shut down the art studio. We needed the classroom for the 5th grade French class. And we just can't keep paying Sandrine double what other TAs make in order to provide art. So we told Sandrine, we're going to shut down the art class. And, that was my decision. That's a staffing thing. And said, you still have a position. You will be a teacher's assistant, and you'll be shared with Ms. Dula, and Ms. Burgess will be using you in the classroom as a TA. She didn't really like that much. There's still, she felt that she wasn't being properly compensated for the work she was doing, and therefore she decided to resign and follow other options. So I think if you guys are interested in doing classes with Madame Sandrine, I would just say, reach out to her separately and do, do something on the side. I know she's willing to offer classes, but unfortunately, it's not a model we could sustain like year after year after year. And so that's kind of.
So Mr. G, are you saying that if Booster wanted to enlist Madame Sandrine after, 2:30 every day for an hour or once a week, whatever it is, you would be okay with Booster working with Madame Sandrine? And if that is a yes, then Jerome, back to your question, how much would you suggest we put into the budget as for an art teacher if it's allowed?
I don't think that should come from Booster. I think if parents want to reach out to kind of like Florence does with the France Exchange after school classes, then they can do so. They can arrange that with Madame
Right.
Sandrine.
I mean, I understand what you're saying, but if the parents are coming to Booster and asking us to provide some kind of art, and we have the parents vote to do that, then we can definitely provide for them as long as you're okay with it, and as long as the parents vote to do that.
I would not be okay with that.
Okay. Would you be okay with us reaching out to any art after school and paying for any art after school?
I think that's more of a private thing. Just like if families are getting outside tutoring or outside whatever classes they are, I think that should be paid by the families and not necessarily from or Booster sponsored. Okay.
Jerome, do you have any?
Yeah, well, the first thing that I'm trying to understand based on, I'm not interested to go into the Sandrine versus LAUSD or admin. I think that's, this is a he said, she said thing. And I think there's no reason to try to get in the middle of this. The situation is what it is. I do have two follow-up questions or comments. The first is, It was regarding the basically, well, the art studio is closed. I understand this, but basically the whole school is closed, and yet we're still able to, we still get stuff done. So I think it's certainly not judging, but I with the situation that Madame Sandrine created by resigning or being gone, I think it's a little. The decision to just art being completely gone, yet music being picked. I mean, I'm a composer. I do music for a living, so I think music is important. But it seems to me that it's just very quickly, it's like, well, music will happen, but no art until we decide it's important. So I do have a concern about this that I wanted to raise, even if we don't have an answer right now. And the second thing is a question regarding the separation, the legal separation between Booster and the school. And this might be more a question for you, Pamela, but it doesn't seem to me, with all due respect to Mr. G, why is it that as parents, we're all funding Booster, and this money is obviously we want to hear the opinion from the school, but it seems to me that if as with all parents we decide this and it's voted on, we should be able to spend money in the way we see fit if we're legally a separate entity. Can you shine a light on this? At least from a very, if it's not specifically arts is the question here, but the larger question is, we're all giving money, and it's our money collectively, and it seems to me we should be able to provide services to all the people that give money. I don't know. It's just maybe I'm wrong here.
No, I don't think you're wrong. I don't disagree with you. We all have to work together, so that's why we go to Mr. G with his perspective. But you're absolutely right. And if we want to make a decision, if we want to override Mr. G and make a decision that we will provide art, then we will provide art. But we have to know that we're going against the principal's suggestion. And if we're all okay with that, if the majority of the families are okay with that, then we move forward, period. Do you want to propose to put any money in the budget for an art class?
Sure. In general, I don't think it has to be Madame Sandrine necessarily,
Correct.
but I think,
right.
yeah, I think it's, this is budget based on the amount of money that we have from last year, and that's been approved. And so I think it's gone, if it's not the full thing, it doesn't have to be the full thing. I don't know what it is, but yeah.
I don't think it should be the full thing either. Can you give us a number?
I mean, I have no idea how much it costs, but if we're going to put a number, let's put 50%.
Okay.
So if you're looking to put like $17,000 or whatever the salary that Booster matched for Sandrine for the art studio,
we're not.
Some sort of, well, I'm just saying, like, hypothetically here, whatever funding you're putting into, and because some families want to have art classes, after school or whatever, then that's the money you're taking away from the overall good of the school. So like when school does reopen again and we can relaunch an art studio, we're not going to have any money to do that. So my concern is when you're having Booster fund classes for just a group of families and they're benefiting from that, then the rest of the school is not benefiting from it, and they're actually losing from that.
Well, Mr. G, can you envision a scenario where, much like we had Connie coming into school and doing yoga, working with each class on a given day, that we have a time slot once a week per grade where we have a virtual art class, for example. And I'm just sort of spitballing here, but that wouldn't necessarily, that would provide art for the families that wanted it, that felt that it was important, and yet not necessarily be so onerous on the budget.
You really can't, because of the limits. The instructional minutes have been cut so much. Okay, we're down to a 4-hour school day, 2 hours of that are direct instruction, synchronous minutes, teacher to student. If you start attacking all these other things on, then you're really cutting into the other instructional minutes the kids are going to lose out on. As much as art is wonderful, and same with music and chorus and dance and drama, these are all fantastic things, but it's really difficult to fit all these things in to the current schedule. We have parents who are fighting for like more screen time. They want teachers to do more direct lessons. They want teachers to do more YouTube videos, more small group pullout. And you guys are saying, hey, let's take away from that time so they can get art.
No, I don't think we're saying that at all. I think we're saying after school I think we agreed that it would be an after school program. And let me just reiterate, this is something that's going into the budget. It doesn't mean that we're going to give $9,000 to any one person. We will do due diligence. We will find an art, we will find an art teacher, and we might pay her, you know, $100 an hour, whatever that is. If it's one day a week, that's obviously not going to be $9,000, but at least it'll be a number in the budget that we can set a goal, you know, we cannot go over. That's my thing. If we put a number in the budget, and we cannot go over that. So we don't have to spend all of it, but we don't have to go over it. I mean, we cannot go over
How
it.
can you ensure that all kids are going to get served with that? Like, it seems like there's a small cluster of parents that want this art, and by providing that for them, you're tapping into resources that could be provided for the entire school to benefit from.
But isn't this true in the same way that there's a small cluster of parents that want orchestra or chorus, yet you're providing it to everybody?
No, because these are, okay, orchestra is booster funded. Visual arts, dance, chorus, those are district funded. So there's a little bit of an overlap there. And it's like, and then like, what if another group of parents says, hey, we really want like karate, or hey, we really want this. You're basically fracturing the entire budget to provide little pockets of opportunities throughout the school year. And I think that's going to be detrimental down the road when we can launch things again, when we can get the art studio up and running, when we can get another TA, we can get other stuff going. Not to mention that we need to fund for the next school year. I think you're really kind of fracturing our budgets by providing little pockets of things because there's like 3 or 4 parents interested in this.
So,
what we see in the chat though, I don't know if it's 3 or 4 parents. It seems like in the chat, there's a lot of art question and support. So I don't know, and that, Zara, I think, had a good suggestion of maybe we take this offline. It sounds like there's some interest. We see what options might be viable and then come back with a proposal and see if that makes sense. Because it sounds like...
I think that we should, in the interest of everyone's time, we should push forward. Is there a way that we can perhaps suggest a placeholder number in the budget?
yes, absolutely.
Pending further discussion and ratification of this new budget, so we can move.
So I'm going to put $9,000 as a placeholder. That's going to be our proposed budget and item, and then we will move forward and see if if this can and will happen. Are there any other questions regarding anything other than art?
No, I just wanted to chime in on that. I mean, we're barely getting a handle on the schedule as is, on like how, can you guys hear me?
Who's speaking? I don't know who's speaking.
This is Giselle Parents. I'm a parent of a 2nd grader. So I think it's great, but I think we can table that conversation because we're barely getting a handle on the schedule for the academics. And I think like even after school, like anything, I mean, it seems like it's been taking as independent work all the way to like 4 or 5 p.m. in the afternoon. So I think that having those activities as optional would be the only way to work, because I, personally, would like to, favor the academics on top of anything else. And I feel like it's taking a lot longer for us to handle it at home. So whatever after school is, I don't know when that would be. Are we talking like way after school, optional, or we might as well just do it privately, if for the time being? Because I agree, I wouldn't cut on screen time with the teachers or any academic time, because it already feels like the day is running out very quickly. So.
Agreed, 100%. Any other questions regarding anything but art or anything else on the budget?
Yes. Quickly, would the art studio be open when the campus opens?
That remains to be seen.
Okay.
It looked like most of the other questions were regarding the art program. Did anyone else have a question in there? Any final words on art before we move on from the budget? If so, just feel free to unmute yourself.
Caroline again. I was going to take a look at the budget. Maybe that question comes later for fundraising. I was just curious. Wait, sorry. Can you guys hear me? I was curious if the fundraising goals have changed, if we're able to move over money from last year. The fundraising goals for this coming year.
Yes, we are. We had an overage from last year, including this $18,000 that you see here that we've moved over. 13,000 of it. Oh, am I muted? No. 13,000 of it has already moved over, as well as anything else that was left in the checking account before the year end or at the year end. So if everyone's, is anyone opposed to the budget based on the changes we made? 4,600 to Garden, 4,000 to Jacob, and 9,000 to Art. Is there anyone opposed to this budget as is? Great.
To be clear, this is Damien. We're not passing the budget right now.
Yes, we are passing the budget right now.
No, then hold on.
Then I would expect that you're probably going to find, based on what's in the comment section, that a number of parents are concerned about putting money, $9,000 aside for art. But that's just
That what they don't want? I'm sorry.
Yeah, when I read a lot of parents saying that they don't think that there should be $9,000 aside for art. Anyway, David wants time out, so I'm gonna.
And I've had my hand raised for a bit here. Yeah, I thought you said we're gonna table the art money because look, I'm an actor. My wife's a dancer. I was a fine art major. I love art. My life is art. But I do agree with Mr. G. Is like I don't want to get back to school and not be able to open up an art studio because I think that was important. What we had, whether it be with Sandrine or someone else, I think is crucial. And I hate cutting arts education out. But I do feel this is a bigger conversation that needs a little more time to sit and table. And let's really maybe make a separate conversation about and not just add the 9,000 now without a plan in place. I think it's a little.
Okay, then let me say this. Is everyone okay with the proposed budget and we'll table the art conversation until next month? Anyone opposed?
Wait, I'm confused. What is the proposed budget? Because, sorry, I'm not on camera. This is Stephanie. Okay. When you say, is everyone okay with the proposed budget? Is that including the $9,000 for art?
It is not including the $9,000 for art.
Got it.
It is including it's including what you see on the screen, 177,282. Do you see the screen?
Yeah, it's just super tiny on my computer and hard to see. I was just going off of what you said before where you included 9,000 for art. So that's now been taken off?
Yeah,
no, I think that, I mean, I think the thing to do, again, to move this all forward a little bit more, is that we table the discussion. Those interested in providing funding out of this year's budget for some sort of art should come to the next meeting and, you know, with some sort of options that might be viable, and then present that to the general community. And if it gets voted, yes, maybe. If not, then that 9,000 goes into other things.
Okay, I'm just, if we're voting right now, I want to be super clear on what we're voting. So personally, I'm in favor of holding that money for when we can rebuild the studio, not spending it now. But did that 9,000, what's happening with that 9,000? Am I the only one confused by this now? Because a minute ago, that was part of the budget and now it's not. I'm not trying to be difficult. I'm just trying to be clear so that
originally,
yes or no.
Originally, there was nothing in the budget for art. We removed $18,000 from the budget. So we had a proposal from a parent to put a placeholder of $9,000 in the budget for art. So that's what we were working with. Now, apparently there's a lot of people opposed to it in the chat. And although we want to pass the budget, we do want to respect their opinions. So if everyone is okay with the budget as is on the screen with the changes of the garden and Jacob, and I see you, Mary Beth, hold on, then we will move forward with it. If there's a better way to do it, please let me know, but we just want to make sure, I guess the point is there's a lot of things that we're taking out of the budget, and we all voted on it back in February. So for us as officers to just remove items from the budget, we have to bring them to you. And that's what we're doing now. So that's in all good, you know, we're trying to do the right thing. So we understand that you have some concerns about art and we want to address that. But if you don't have any concerns about cooking supplies or field trips or yoga, those are the things that we want to move forward with. Mary Beth, what was your question?
No, I just wanted to make sure we were talking about the budget on the screen, but with the garden stuff and the Jacob stuff. So I'm fine now.
Yeah.
Okay, so is anyone opposed to the budget on the screen? Increasing garden to 4,600, increasing Jacob to 4,000. The art studio has been removed, but we are discussing putting something into the budget, and we will discuss that at the next meeting or between these two meetings. Anyone opposed? Thank you. We're moving forward. So, Crudy.
Yes.
Would you like to talk about the nominations?
I will. I will be very, very brief. So I hope you all know that every parent at the school is a member of the Boosters, and every parent in the school is eligible to volunteer to be a booster officer. All the positions, except for vice president, are potentially available. But please, we welcome anyone to self-nominate, or we welcome anyone to nominate somebody else for any of these positions. We have, Boosters consists of 2 co-presidents every year. The chief roles of the presidents are essentially to interface with the school administration on a kind of a high level, overseeing the needs of the school and how Booster can meet those needs. Obviously, it's to preside at all the meetings, to execute any contracts that are needed. For example, if there's a contract needed to provide a bus for a field trip or whatnot, and also to issue checks to people like Jacob, people like the yoga teacher, et cetera, et cetera. And it's also to sort of reconcile the financials, keep an eye on the financials. You'll have access to the Booster bank account for sort of the day-to-day maintenance. But one of the chief responsibilities for both co-presidents is to respond to questions from the parent community about the activities that are going on within Boosters, respond to ideas, put together, and to sort of cheerlead for new initiatives, new committees, that sort of thing. Anything that can get the school closer to where we all want it to be. Those are the jobs of the co-presidents. The vice president steps in for the co-presidents whenever necessary, but apart from that, the chief responsibility for a vice president is to communicate. Vice president interfaces with the admin and provides information that goes out on your newsletters, the flyers that you get, the emails that you get. So it is, the vice president also manages the calendar and puts together social events and fundraisers and kind of fields that whole thing. Alongside that, you're also the public face of Boosters. So you're answering questions and you're acting as a liaison between the parent community and the Boosters. There is a secretary we're looking for. Secretary does what secretaries do, keeps minutes, takes attendance at these minutes, schedules meeting logistics, and also does assist with school-wide events. And then also you're an officer for Boosters, so you're part of the public face. And then we are also in search for a treasurer this year. A treasurer obviously is responsible for the fiscal health of and the fiscal oversight of the Boosters. So you're responsible for maintaining or keeping track of all the funds going in and going out. If you're a CPA or if you have any kind of tax experience, that's great because we will need that to prepare reports, quarterly reports and that sort of thing, and your tax returns. And also you manage the budget overall. So those are the primary booster, those are the primary booster officers. And if you are interested in any of these positions, then please email us or look out for the information that you'll get after this meeting. There will be a form to fill out that just gives us your information, who you are, and how we can contact you so we can vote on officers. We're planning on voting on new officers next month.
So I also just pasted the link in the chat. So you can use that form to nominate yourself or anyone else. And then please do so by September 8th. We'll then be able to contact everybody, make sure they accept the nominations, and then publish that list so everyone knows who the nominees are in advance of our next meeting. So we'll also be sending out that form afterwards. But if you wanted to get a head start right now, have somebody in mind, you can click that link that's in the chat. And then in addition to the leadership roles that, Kruti mentioned in terms of our booster officers, there's other leadership roles. You see them listed there. They're also in that packet. The first 4 are the ones that are currently open. So we have an academic support leader. And, based on what we've heard from parents, it sounds like that is of utmost importance, especially as we're looking at distance learning this year. So that person is supposed to be taking all of the parent volunteers, because the good news too is, in addition to hearing parents say that they want, some sort of program in place, we've heard from a lot of parents that they have the time and ability and skills to help. So it's great. We just need to now match up those needs with those resources. So this academic support leader can help organize those parents, work with the room parents to identify what those needs are in each grade, establish some sort of system for sign up and maintaining that list, and then also look at leading other initiatives to provide resources, in particular in French, for the Richland community. So if that's on YouTube, having someone read stories and then publishing those videos, or any other ideas, we think that there is a really big opportunity, in particular during this time, for an academic support leader. The second one is corporate sponsorship, fundraising, and grants leader. We all know that we raise money through Giving Campaign, which are mostly our contributions. We also raise money through things like Jogathon, which is mostly contributions of our friends and family. This is then taking it to a third group where we are able to raise money from corporations. So somebody to really take the lead on this, develop a pitch deck, see what corporations are out there and willing to donate money to boosters. Then our ongoing fundraisers leader. So we have several ongoing fundraisers, mostly through our shopping programs. Just somebody to lead that program, make sure that they are up to date on all of the requirements, how people utilize the programs, and then any sort of tracking or anything that needs to be done on our end from a record keeping purpose. Also the eco team. So Sonia was very passionate about the eco team. She led this initiative and then moved to France. So we are looking for somebody new to take that on. It is something that will be particularly relevant once we are back on campus, but there could be opportunities as well while we're still distance learning, just to make Richland a greener campus and more awareness for environmental issues. So those are the 4 that we are looking for volunteers to lead. In addition, as you see there on the bottom of the form, we have 4 others that we already have fantastic leaders in. So those include beautification, that Alexa currently leads. Our spirit gear, the design and ordering side, is led by Jackie, and Alan leads the sales side. And then our fearless grandparent leaders, so we have Fran and Carrie. So those groups are already accounted for. The other 4 we need leaders on, and then in addition, there's a few other opportunities to join various committees, groups, and events. Normally, we would have a very robust sign up. It would be something that would come in the welcome packet. Knowing that this year is a little different, we're only taking signups at this point for things that we know are going to happen or are relevant in a distance learning environment. So I will paste that link into the chat as well, and then also send that out. But one of those is the Spirit Gear Committee. So Alan is still looking at doing online sales. We're still going to work on developing merchandise, getting that out there. Photographers and videographers, especially now that we're on Zoom and everything's on video, looking for someone with those skills. Graphic designers for the same reasons. The Grandparents Committee is always looking for people to join their group. So if any of you are a grandparent, have one of your parents who may be interested. And then finally, virtual social events and fundraisers. As Kruti mentioned, that's something that I take on as vice president. I have a lot of fantastic ideas, would love to hear more ideas. And then also just need people to help get these, off the ground. So want to brainstorm, want to come up with ways that we can keep our community engaged. So really focused on community building in this really bizarre virtual environment that we're all in now. And then in addition, using those as fundraisers. I put together a video with the help of so many fantastic parent leaders and staff and teachers from across our community. That was out on Facebook this week, also in the email. We'll include it again in the recap email from this meeting. So if you haven't already done so, take a peek at that. That goes into all the details of the various groups and the wonderful community we have here at Richland. And then a big shout out and thank you to everyone who participated in that video. You really helped pull together, what makes our school so special in a really fabulous way. So more to come on all of that. All right, and then the next thing on the agenda is our calendar of events. So normally I would be up in front of the room telling you about our full calendar of all the great things that are going on this year. But as we know, we're in a very different time. So we do have two things to talk about today under that agenda item. The first is an opportunity for school photos. So Pamela, if you want to click over to that. Not official school photos, but an opportunity to have some back to school pictures of your kids. So two different options offered by a local photographer, a traditional pose as well as a special coronavirus pose. So when you get your pictures taken, you will get both of those. It is in a location nearby Richland. So if you want to sign up, the link is on that flyer, and we'll email all of this again afterwards as well. 10% of the proceeds will be donated to our school. So in addition to getting some fantastic pictures of your kids, you also have the opportunity to know that you're making that donation to the school. So be on the lookout for that. And then the last thing we wanted to talk about, with regards to the meetings are, in the past we decided we would do a morning meeting and an evening meeting in order to make it easier for people to attend with a variety of different schedules. So our evening meetings we're going to hold at the 6 p.m. time. For our morning meetings, we wanted to put out a poll to see what would work best for everyone. We wanted to first get some ideas as to things to include in that poll. Knowing that kids are starting Zoom at 9 a.m. and later, we used to do meetings right after drop off. So does an 8 o'clock meeting still work for people? Would you prefer 9? Does this lunchtime spot work best? So if anyone has any ideas, put them in the chat, reach out to us afterwards. You can reach out to any of us individually or our Richland Booster mail@gmail.com email address and let us know your thoughts. We'll then pull all that together, put a poll out and see what works best. So our October meeting is going to be the evening meeting. And then, September will be evening. And then for October, we'll go to whatever the morning meeting is going to look like. So we'll have that poll out and finalized before that. And that's that.
Thank you so much, Danielle. So we are just we have a couple more minutes and I think we can get through everything. Usually I stand up in front of you all and talk about the monthly financial statements, which we put a lot of time and effort into. And I know that you all spend a lot of time reviewing it. So I appreciate that. This here attached is the final, the final financial for last year. And since school just started, you will see an August financial at our September meeting. And let's see, I believe that's basically it for the main agenda items. If you have any questions about the treasurer's report, please reach out to me. The STAR program, you have all received a ton of emails from STAR, I'm sure. So please refer to them. Our other business is we hope that you will join our Richland Facebook pages and sign up for the ongoing fundraisers. Fran is going to talk in a minute about the parent workshops that she has, and also Damien Newton. You're going to get to hear from him again because he wants to talk about the Slow Streets project. So I'm going to turn it over to Danielle to talk really quickly about Facebook and the ongoing fundraisers, and then we'll reach out to Fran.
All right, so there you have all the instructions. Most of you are probably already on our community page. Make sure that you're telling your friends, your fellow parents. If you are not on that page yet, please click and join. It's how we're communicating a lot of this really important information about boosters and other events around the school. When you click to join, one of the most important questions is just fill out who your room parent is. That allows me to quickly screen and admit people much faster. Our other page is our Richland public page. So both of those are fantastic resources for school info. The public page is obviously public facing. The community page is much more for parent conversation, things that are internal to our school. So both serve different purposes and both really valuable. So make sure that you like the public page and join the community page. And then there's also instructions in there as to how to set your notifications to receive notifications from posts on either or both. So definitely take a peek through that and set those if you want them. Some people don't want more notices, but other people want to make sure that they know everything that's going on. So you have instructions on how to do those. And then finally, our ongoing fundraisers. Here's the list of instructions for each of the groups that we currently partner with and how to set Richland as the school that's the beneficiary for those donations. It's nothing out of your pocket. It's all these corporations making donations based on what you do or what you purchase. So there's no downside. Everyone should be doing it. Make sure you tell all of your fellow parents. And yeah, if you then sign up to be the ongoing fundraisers lead, these are the programs you'd be managing, and then would love to add any others to the list as well.
I would just like to add here that I really encourage all parents to at least sign up for this, at least get Amazon Smile on your, link to Richland. And if you shop at Ralph's or Food for Less or any of these places, because it does add up and it does render hundreds and hundreds of dollars in funds for Booster. So please don't discount these opportunities.
And then real quick, Ludovine had a question about the dates for the school photos. Pamela, if you want to just scroll up to that, I believe it was September 5th and 6th.
Sorry, hold on.
Right.
Don't get dizzy.
Yes, Saturday and Sunday, September 5th and 6th.
And just so you all know, I know we've gone through this pretty quickly, well, other than the budget, but this packet was emailed to you earlier in the week. You have all of this information already at your fingertips, and we will be sending it out again after the meeting. So you will have all this information. And regarding, I think, Crudy's comment about raising money on the ongoing fundraisers, you can see in the budget, last year's budget, the final one, you can see where we did Amazon Smile, we got $391, Box Tops, $110. So it absolutely, Kroger, $1,300. So please do sign up for those. Now, Fran, are you around? Can you talk to us about the parent workshops?
I am. I'm excited to continue doing this. Not that excited about Zoom. I'm much better in person, I think, but I will do it. Most of you know that my focus is on social skills development, and I thought I would start with resiliency and the 6 key components of that, since we're all trying to be resilient right now. We are looking at the end of October, the last 2 weeks. My schedule is really flexible nowadays. So I'm looking for suggestions of days of the week and time. So, and if it's evening is best, that's okay with me. But I'm also looking for topic areas that people would like me to address. I think that worked out well last year when people wanted to hear about bullying and anxiety. And so whatever topics that you might think I have not addressed over the past 3 years for people who've been around a while, or topics that, you'd be interested in hearing, I can see what I can do about pulling something together. But I'm looking forward to seeing some familiar faces and new faces, and really need some suggestion on days of the week and time. So I look forward to you all submitting that.
Great, thank you so much. Damien?
Hi, thanks. So I'm on the church council for St. Andrew's Lutheran Church, which is right down the street, and we put an application in for one of the city's Slow Streets programs. It's like they put up some signs and discourage cut-through traffic and that sort of thing to make it so that during the pandemic that there's more space for people to exercise in that by actually being on the street, by reducing the traffic on the streets. And now this does not impact local traffic, like if you live there or you're visiting or something like that, but to make it so that there's more space for people to exercise and be out in public and social distance at the same time. I'm told our application was approved, although there's no date for that. And we, for when it would get in. And over the summer, I talked with the Booster leadership about some of this also. But once we have a date, we're going to put together a committee with hopefully some neighborhood leaders and some leaders of the various Girl and Boy Scout troops in the neighborhood. And we were hoping to get some parents that weren't me on the committee too, for different ways and activities we could activate the street, as in have some events that are specific to the neighborhood and to Richland on it. So when we have that, I'm going to post about it. if it's before the next booster meeting, I just wanted to give people a more clear idea of what it is so they're not like confused. And I can put articles about what slow streets are if people are confused on the site also. But we've talked about some things that are really Richland specific for that, or I guess Richland and Webster specific, like possibly having a bike to school day parade up and down the street, which could be a socially distanced event between the two parking lots, or things like that. So we are trying to think of some ways to do some cool stuff with the community when we get this, not just put up a bunch of DOT signs and call it a day. And we definitely want to have parents from the school involved. And I mean, I'm great and all, but as more than just me. So if you're interested, we'll be making an announcement probably at the next meeting, and you can look for something on the Facebook page when we have a more concrete idea what the city's schedule is.
Super. Thank you so much, everyone. Is there any other last questions? I mean, we are at 1:06, so we've gone 6 minutes over, but I think we did pretty good. Any last minute questions or comments? Great. So thank you again. And I really appreciate you all being here, and I can't wait to see you in person. And we will reconvene, and again, reach out to us, email us about your perspective on the art, because the more perspectives we can get, the better. It seems like we're a little bit divided right now, so let's try to work on something that will work for everyone. Thank you so much, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.